July YouTube Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thanks so much for joining me. We will wait just a couple of minutes and see who gets on, and then we'll get started. As you can see before us right here, I have the new Stampin' Foil system. We're going to be using that tonight on our card. So I'll be showing you how to use that. It goes live to customers for purchase at midnight Mountain Time this evening, or well, tomorrow, July 10th, midnight Mountain Time, which is actually 11 p.m. here in Oregon. So that will happen this evening for us in the Pacific Northwest. All right. Hello, Tracy. So hopefully you can see my Stampin' Hot Foil machine here. And right now I have it plugged in and heating up. I wanted to save us some time. It takes about 6 minutes. It's an easy plug. It's an easy unplug. This is magnetic. Just pops in and out. Okay. And then once this is ready to go, this will start flashing. We'll put our hot foil die on there, put some foil and some other things, and then we'll get some hot foiling going. For our card as well, hello, Cher. Welcome. We're going to be using the July product of the month. This is the Begonia Belle stamp set. 12 photopolymer stamps. Now that beeped and it's flashing, so we're going to go ahead and put our die on the platform here. There is a grid on the platform, and for this particular application, I want to make sure that I get this fairly straight on my machine. Oops, and I put it on upside down. You need the smooth side down, foiling side up. So that's an important thing. We got to do that. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly. So let's get that on there. All right, so I've got that. Now, when this is ready, this is going to beep again at me, and then this light will start flashing, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, actually, I think everything goes solid. I've only used it a few times, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't know exactly how everything, the process goes. So for this now, I'm going to take a piece of gold foil. I have my little packet here of stuff that I need for this card. So we've got some gold foil that we're going to use. We'll put that shiny side down, the gold side facing down. And then I've got a piece of two-tone basic beige cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to be using the lighter side, so I'm also going to put that face down. So I like to lay it right here on my surface, how I'm going to be using it. So I'll put those face down, both of those, so that I remember that I just need to pick them up and move them over to the machine. Okay, then we'll go ahead and grab our plates that we need to add. We have a hot foil spacer and a hot foil shim. So we'll put the hot foil shim down first and then the spacer on top. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. So we're just I'm just jumping right in here so we get this done. And this hot foiling takes just a little bit longer, maybe. I've got all my pieces ready to go. And I actually remembered to plug the machine in, so that's always a good thing. This process should take about 1.5 to 2 minutes to heat up the metal die. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my fan for the moment so it doesn't blow my foil. because once I get it on there, I want it to stay where I need it to stay. And I don't need it blowing around. So this is a piece of foil that is about, it's 5 inches. This is actually the width of a roll. And then I cut this at about 3 1/4. Okay, so while that's heating up, let me show you how your foil comes. It comes in a little box like this. And then you get 2 rolls in each one. Okay, and each roll is 5 inches by 5 yards. So you get 10 yards of foil in a box. And currently we have gold, silver, and light pink. Did I forget to press that button? I might have. That's what I forgot to do. That's what's taking so long. See, that was flashing at me like, hello, dummy. Press the button. Hello, Gian. How is it over there in Eastern Oregon today? We had a lovely day. Weather was just about perfect for me. Okay. So I'm sorry, that took a little bit longer because I didn't push that button to make that start heating up like it's supposed to. So actually this process, if you do it and push the button when you're supposed to, it should only take 1.5 to 2 minutes. But I forgot to push that button. So there we are. So we'll get just another minute. This particular die comes from the Echoes of Detail hot foil dies. And there's also a coordinating stamp set that goes with that. This is 6 photopolymer pieces. These hot foil dies do not coordinate exactly with the hot foil dies. So if you don't like the stamp set or you don't like the hot foil dies, you can easily purchase the pieces by themselves. Okay, so now everything's green and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to put my hot foil over the top of my die there and cover that all up neat and tidy. And then I'm going to try real hard to use this grid and get my paper on straight. And then I'm going to add my hot foil shim on top of that, my hot foil spacer. Now, right to my right here, I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've been told this machine will not fit in a big shot because the base is not wide enough. So you have to have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm rolling this through really slowly so that our rollers have plenty of time to contact the hot foil and press that in. So then I'll put it back in its silicone mat here. I'll lift this up, and here is the magic right here. So we've got that, and then I'm going to plug this right back in, and I'm going to use my magnetic tool. This comes with your machine, and then this you place on it. There's a silicone mat. I have that off to my right, and then you just press that little button and it drops off. So I'm going to place that in my silicone mat over here. I don't have room for everything on my desk here, so we're going to make do with what we have. And then we'll go ahead and show you this. Now this machine won't take as long to heat up the second time. And there is the magic. And I got that on quite a bit straighter than I did with my sample card. So that is excellent because I finally figured out I should use those grids. So with a new product, there's a learning curve, and I'm trying to help you with your learning curve to make it a little bit easier and faster for you um, by telling you all the little tips and tricks that I've learned. Okay, so we've got that heating again. That shouldn't take nearly as long. So let's go ahead and see if I can do some stamping while we're waiting. This time, though, we're going to be using pink, the light pink foil. So this is the light pink. Again, I've got a piece of the two-tone cardstock. This time, we'll be using the dark side. See how much faster that was this time? So now this is ready for my die. So I'm just going to place this on. This is from the Classic Greetings set. Press that button. That's going to start heating. And then I want to put the dark side down. Did I do that wrong? Nope, I did not. Good. I did use the light side. Now we're going to use the dark side. Stampin' Up! Says that for best results, you should use a smooth cardstock. They're recommending two-tone cardstock, willow white cardstock, or your basic white cardstock. And of course, very vanilla will also work because it's a smooth cardstock as well. All right, window sheet, designer series paper, any of those smoother things will give you good results. The milled cardstock, which is our regular cardstock, still works. You'll just get a little bit of a distressed look because there is a texture to the paper, and so that will be factored into the foil. 9 degrees today in Ashland. Yay! Although that's a little warm for me. A little warm. Okay, so as soon as these all light up again, we'll be ready to foil our second piece here. I'm going to set this aside because we've got some stamping to do. That is now ready. You saw how quickly that went the second time. Now I'm going to take my pink foil here, and I'm going to take my dark side of my cardstock here. I'm going to get a little bit of over foiling here because my foil is bigger than my cardstock. That's okay. We're going to put that right down here. Put down our hot foil shim, our hot foil spacer. I'll break that away. It's magnetic, so it comes apart easy. And then I take this whole sandwich to my machine and roll it through slowly. Okay. And then we'll lift this up and we'll pull up our, oh good, it didn't overfoil. Yay! Okay, so then we've got that. Now we're going to, I'm going to put those out of the way because we're done hot foiling. I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to put it on my silicone mat. I'm going to move this completely out of the way. Oh, baby girl, don't touch that. Okay. And then, let's see, we can reveal this. This is the mat that I have for my hot foil dies. Now, all of these pieces that I've shown you thus far, except for the hot foil dies, come with your machine. Okay, so then we're just going to take our foil. The dies in the foil don't come with the machine, but all of the silicone mats, the magnetic piece, all your cords, your plates, that all comes with your machine ready to go. Okay, so this particular set of hot foil dies is called Classic Greetings. Now you'll notice here on the front we've got some greetings in gold. These are the hot foil dies, and then these that are in the black, they're actually dies to cut out those greetings. Okay, so we're going to take that and we're going to move this completely out of the way again. And then we're going to set this up. And then we'll bring in our regular sandwich. Okay. So we're going to just put that in. And for this one, I can actually put this through my mini machine. So we're going to grab those plates. And then we'll run this through. And then all of our hot foiling pieces are done and ready for our project. Okay. So there is the result of our classic greetings on the hot foil machine with the light pink foiling. Okay, let's go ahead and set this aside so it doesn't get lost. I'm just going to drop that back in the envelope, and then I won't need to worry about it. And then we're going to start our stamping. Let's go ahead and put these things to the side. Grab the pieces that we need. We're starting with a Blackberry Bliss card base. This is a standard A2. And I've scored it in the center at 4 1/4. Man, I have a hard time with these sometimes. Not wanting to stay where I want them. So we've got that. And then really what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this. I've got a piece of the Sunset Shimmer Vellum. This is from the May to August 2026 catalog. And you get 3 colors, Balmy Blue, Barely Blush, and this champagne color in your package. And I'm using the champagne. I needed a piece to ground my image, but I didn't want something that was going to be loud and take over. And I discovered this Sunset Shimmer Vellum takes Stampin' Seal really well. Does that help with the lighting? I just realized I didn't have any lights on. Wow. Okay, that kind of makes a difference. So I'm just going to put this in here. And this is 1 1/2 by 4 inches. Or that's what I thought I cut it. It's looking a little wide. That's okay. We're just going to cut off the excess. Better too long than too short. That's what I say. All right, so now we can set this, can go on our card base. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal for that. And then we'll add this to our Blackberry Bliss card base. All right, so we could easily just do this and call that good, and that would be a pretty card. But then we wouldn't be using Begonia Belle, and of course we have to use that. So let's go ahead and set that aside. Let's bring in some paper. And I think this might be big enough, but it might not, and I've got more beside me that can go. So these are the images that I'll be using from the Begonia Belle. Man, I'm having a hard time with that tonight. And our ink colors are Blackberry Bliss, Fresh Freesia, and then Peaceful Pine. Okay, so let's start with our flowers. And while we're stamping, we're also going to stamp our inside piece. Save us some time. I've already stamped the envelope. I've got a scrap piece of paper here because I'm going to be stamping off on my inside piece. So I'm going to start with Blackberry Bliss. Oh, and let me give you a tip on this Begonia Belle to save yourself some frustration. When you set this up on your block, take your stamps, okay, and line them up with the image on your case. Okay, in this case, they have them sideways, so this is what I did. I turned it this way, and then I picked this up just like that. I did the same thing with this one, and that makes it so it's so much easier to line up your images. Okay, just a little tip for that. I'm going to go ahead and turn my fan back on. It's getting awfully warm in here. Give me 1 second. And then we're going to start with the darkest image. So I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to ink that up in the Blackberry Bliss. And I'm going to stamp that down. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for just a minute. I'm going to come in with my inside piece. And I'm going to put one down here. All right. And then because this is Blackberry Bliss, I'm going to go ahead and clean that off very quickly. Keep it from staining so bad. Now, if you go back with Stampin' Mist, that will make a huge difference later. So we have one more piece of stamping that we need to do with Blackberry Bliss, but we need to do our Peaceful Pine first. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. Bring in fresh freesia, and I'm going to use what I call the outline image, and I'm going to line this up. And because of the way I put that on my block, that lined up very easily. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this. Now, if you needed to do your envelope, you would be doing that now to save yourself some time and be a little more efficient. And I've got that done. Okay, so we can set this aside. We're done with that. All right, so let's set that over there. Now let's bring in our leaves. I don't know. This is going to be okay. I struggled with the leaves a little bit, trying to figure out which one should be the lighter color and which one should be the darker color. And I decided that this one here should be the darker color. No, this one right here with all the open part. This is for the darker. Okay, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this one's a little bit less open in the center. This one has quite a bit of opening. This is going to be my darker color. And for that, we're using Peaceful Pine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down in Peaceful Pine. And hopefully it's going to fit on here. I didn't leave myself much room, but I think I've got it. And then I'm going to come behind with the same color. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to fill this in. Okay, and I only need just the one leaf, so I'm good. And then we don't have quite enough room on this, I think, for our other piece. So like I said, I have some more. We're going to take our Peaceful Pine and this little leaf, and I'm going to stamp that. And then we're going to come back with the Blackberry Bliss. And we're going to take the little buds and Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to line these up on these stems, just like that. And then while we're at it, we've got this out. Let's go ahead and stamp our inside sentiment, which comes from Phrases and Frames, because not everybody's perfect and not everybody gets their birthday cards out on time. So we're going to do, I didn't forget your birthday, I just wanted it to last longer. All right, so now we're done with the stamping. I'm going to set this up here. I'm going to go ahead and clean those Blackberry Blisses pretty quickly. Hope you don't mind. I won't worry about the rest of them, but I do like to get the Blackberry Bliss off. Okay, so now that we have those, let's bring these back in. And yes, I know, people don't like to fussy cut. And I could have done these on a circle, but that's just not really my style. And I don't mind fussy cutting. These are pretty easy images to fussy cut. So I'm just going to fussy cut them out quickly. And then we'll put that card together. Get rid of all that excess, just makes it a little bit easier for me. I'll turn my cardstock with my left hand, my scissors open and close with my right hand. There's my leaf. And then we'll just go down and do this. Now, I did get a little crazy with some other cards and made them 3-layer cards, or 3-layer flowers. So I'll show those to you at the end. And that will actually, my card I'm going to show you at the end, will be posted in my Stampers group social tomorrow. And that will be your challenge for the next couple of weeks. And not necessarily to make the layers on the flowers. It'll be a piece challenge where I'll give you some pieces and you have to put them together and make a card. Okay, so I've got that. I really like the Fresh Freesia and Blackberry Bliss. I think it just really pops. So again, we're just going to cut this out quickly. And depending on how closely you stamp this little bud, determines on how easy it is for you to cut. Because if you're me, you got to get really detailed. Other people don't necessarily cut that detailed, but I really like my pieces to be detailed. So we'll go ahead and see, I like to cut down like that. I'm going to get rid of this excess here, and I'll go in here like this and meet that cut there. Gotta go just a titch further. There we go. And then we'll have this piece, and we are almost finished with our card. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of all this junk. And no, I'm not throwing that on my floor. I have a garbage can right beside me. Okay, so for this now, I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to go in and I'm going to round up the edges of those petals a bit. And then I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're going to add this to our card, like so. And then for my leaf, I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional and put it at the top. And then I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. Oop, I got a half of one here left from fixing an Iron Man figurine whose arm had broken for my grandson. The craft supplies come in quite handy for lots of things. So I'm just going to put this in here like so. Okay, and then we'll come in with our buds. And I'm going to take a mini. I'm going to put that up on this bud. And then again, I'll take a mini glue dot. And I'm going to slip this. I better take that off first. I'm going to slip this down right in here. Just like that. Okay. And then we're going to add our happy birthday down here. Okay. So let's get some Stampin' Dimensionals for that as well. And let's take a look. Yeah, I can pretty much put one there. See if we can fit one over here. Oops, the backing came off. See how well that fits in there. If you angle this just so, that's going to fit in there just perfectly. A little bit easier when the backing's not there, of course, or when the backing is there. And then let's straighten this up. Put this down like here. Oh, okay, real quick. Now, I just happened to notice when I did that, I don't know if you can tell it, but I got a little bit of overfoiling right here. Now, I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but I have a solution for you when that happens. Take your eraser and erase that right off of there. Okay? And now we're good. Okay, that came right off. Now I don't have that overfoiling. And that was simply because my foil was larger. That's just not really going to fit there very good. Maybe I better take this one off. I might need to use a mini. We'll figure it out here in a second when I get this down how I want it. I want to put that right like that, but of course I want it to be straight. That's going to fit, and I'll put a mini down here. And there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our inside, and then we'll add a few gems and we'll be done. Okay. So here's our inside piece. Let's get some antique pearls. Okay. I hope that you'll have fun with the challenge. I'll tell you a little bit more about how I came up with the idea here in just a minute. So we're going to take these. These are the antique pearls. And I want 2 fresh freesia pearls in the small. So I'm just going to color these with my Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. I like to use the bullet tip so I don't ruin the brush end. Okay. And then I'm going to take the Blackberry Bliss blend, and I'm going to do one of the mediums. Okay. And then we'll add those to our card and we'll be finished. So I'm going to start with the ones that I started with first. They've had a little bit longer time to dry. And then I'll go to the last one right there. And when I'm happy with their placement, I like to take my Take Your Pick tool and give those a good press down to make sure that that glue dot on the back of those gets adhered well. Okay, so there is the card that I have for you this evening. And here is the matching envelope. Okay, so that's a second look. If you didn't see my video that I put out on YouTube yesterday morning, you should go back and check that out. That shows some other hot foil products and a quick demo. And then let's talk about our little challenge for tomorrow and how that came about. I've got this card here, and I had placed an order with the Country Hive, and I received in the mail some pieces, a card base, this piece of designer series paper, this one, and a white circle and a Lost Lagoon circle. And that's what I received. I had no idea what I was supposed to do with it, so I just put it together, and this is the card that I came up with. So your challenge for tomorrow is going to be basically the same. You're going to use pieces of those sizes and those shapes, and you're going to make a card and post it for everyone to see. So this is the card I was telling you that I did 3 layers. So I stamped the begonia 3 times, and then I simply cut different sections and stacked them up. And that is that. Okay. So there's a look at that, and I also did that in Calypso Coral with Crisp Cantaloupe. But instead of the Lost Lagoon there, I used Peaceful Pine, and I changed out the circle to Misty Moonlight. And here in the background, I don't know if you noticed, I did use that same die, foiling die that we used tonight on that circle just to give it a little added kick. And this is the Sentimental Greetings, I think is what it's called. And I used that. I showed that in my video that's posted here on YouTube yesterday. All right. So there you go. That's what we have for you this evening. Thanks so much for joining me. If you liked what you saw, be sure to give me a like. And if you haven't already followed me, please do so. That helps my channel and helps others see my content, and I appreciate it so much. Doesn't cost a thing, but it sure helps me out. Anyway, thanks so much. You'll find all of these products in my online store after midnight tonight, because the hot foil system will be there after midnight Mountain Time, and then you'll be able to purchase all of it, and I would appreciate your business. Thanks so much. Good night, everybody. Thank you for all your kind words. I love it.